film starts with a voiceover and point-of-view camera narration by Mason Pettis, who is a former U.S. Army Special Forces officer, but he was injured and medically discharged after a failed mission to assassinate Paldonian dictator Juan Venegas.
That's our target, President Venegas!
He explains that he planned to become a lawyer but dropped out of law school after 1 year to enlist in the U.S. Army because he did not want a stereotypical life. In present day, Pettis is working as a lawyer, a job he despises.
I became a lawyer. That seemed like a safe move.
After he performed well in training and was selected for the Special Forces, he fell in love with his wife Jenny and had a daughter, Casey.
Good morning.
Yay! You want to drive?
No!
All right, you in everything?
Mason, don't forget her seatbelt.
Years later, Mason takes his daughter to school and goes to work.
Bye, Daddy.
You have a great day, okay?
One of his customers wants to hire him as a lawyer against his old phone company. His old phone company charged him for the call he didn't make. Mason takes the job, and the person pays Mason's advance payment. After shaking hands, the customer leaves him alone in the office.
I'll be in touch, okay?
Thank you.
Hours later, Mason is visited by his former boss, Sebastian Earle, who now runs a private security firm, CDI known as Contract Defense Initiatives.
Sebastian Earle.
Hey.
Oh, man.
Sebastian takes him to his CDI security firm. He gave a tour of his new security organization, and Mason wondered about his former boss. Sebastian gave some details about the organization he leads.
We sell a product. That product is security.
Sebastian offers Mason a job to protect a journalist traveling to Paldonia to interview Venegas. Mason is hesitant because he blames Venegas for the deaths of his comrades. Still, Sebastian convinces him to accept it by offering a $20,000 payment.
20 grand says you are.
Who's a journalist?
Mason does research on Claire Wellington, an award-winning journalist who was disgraced after a fact-checking scandal. Jenny and Mason fight, and Mason agrees to move out of the house. Jenny is angry to learn Mason is going on the mission and risking his life, but he still decides to leave. Mason meets Claire, and they fly to Paldonia. Claire explains that Venegas has never agreed to an interview until now, so this is an opportunity for her to rebuild her career.
He doesn't do interviews. Until now.
Venegas picks Claire and Mason up at the airport. Claire and Venegas bond over their mutual acquaintance, Ellie, Claire's college roommate, who introduced them.
Ellie and you were roommates in the university, yes?
Our second and fourth years, yes.
Venegas talks positively about his country, but it is clear that the citizens of the capital do not think highly of him. On the road to Venegas' estate, the caravan is attacked by militants, killing all of Venegas' security. Mason takes control, killing the attackers. Venegas is thankful for Mason's help and tells Claire that the attack was an attempted coup.
C'est un coup d'état!
A coup!
Putain de merde!
However, Mason wants to leave the country. Claire is adamant they stay to cover the story. Colonel Jan Cohorst receives a call telling him that all the men are dead. Mason, Claire, and Venegas make their way through the jungle. Mason calls Sebastian for backup and is directed to a clearing for a rescue pickup. Venegas calls his nephew Jorge Vasquez and learns that Jorge was behind the assassination attack so he could seize the presidency.
I was just talking to Jorge, my nephew. He's the one behind the coup.
Mason insists he and Claire leave, though Claire is upset to give up this career-making opportunity. While awaiting extraction, Mason and Claire are attacked by mercenaries and chased through the jungle. Mason kills most of the men, and Venegas shows up to save them from a final attacker.
Where is Venegas?
I'm here.
Jorge and Cohorst meet to discuss the situation. Cohorst explains that his clients are disappointed that Venegas has not yet been killed and threatens to kill Jorge if the job is not finished.
My clients are very disappointed that your uncle is still alive and causing trouble.
Mason tells Claire this will be his last mission due to his age and shares that he is separated from his wife and disappointed with his life as a lawyer. Venegas takes Mason and Claire to the small village where he grew up and where the locals admire him.
Welcome to Sabrina, my home.
Claire conducts and films her interview with Venegas, in which he admits his presidency has been backed for a long time by outside forces who wanted to exploit the country's natural metal resources but who have not been happy by Venegas's renewed desire for independence and to better the lives of Paldonians over foreign interest.
Get me up alone now!
At night, the village people prepare a party for them. Venegas, Mason, and Claire have fun and they go to bed. Claire comes onto Mason in their bedroom, but he rejects her advances. She asks him if he still loves his wife, and he says yes, he does.
You still love her?
Yeah.
The next day, Mason calls Sebastian to try to understand the situation and learns his real mission was to assassinate Venegas, but Jorge decides to change the plans. Sebastian explains that South Africans, led by Cohorst, want to take control of the Paldonian resources. Cohorst and his men arrive at the village, forcing Mason, Claire, and Venegas to escape on horseback. During a chase, Mason and Venegas get away while Claire is captured. Venegas tells Mason he knew about Jorge's plan to assassinate him as well as Mason's army mission years earlier, but that it was friendly fire from competing contractors that killed Mason's men, not Venegas's men. Venegas reveals to Mason that he is friends with the opposition party's leader and pays the rebels as a form of propaganda to increase nationalism.
What can the People's Worker Party, the armed revolutionary front of Paldonia?
Sebastian helps Mason broker a trade with the South Africans for Claire's return. Before Venegas can be taken, a crowd of angry Paldonians show up and attack the mercenaries. Venegas, Mason, and Claire sneak into the palace, with Claire live streaming from her phone. Venegas and Jorge reconcile, but General Martinez arrives and shoots Venegas. Venegas is unharmed and kills Martinez, but Jorge dies from a stray bullet.
Bulletproof suit.
The Paldonian military and South African mercenaries arrive. Venegas gives a passionate speech that convinces the military to fight with him, and a firefight ensues. As Claire films, Mason and Cohorst battle. Cohorst reveals he is the one who killed Mason's men.
You killed my friends.
It was several of us.
Claire saves Mason's life by knocking Cohorst unconscious, and Mason fights the remaining mercenaries. Sebastian arrives with a group of backup forces that finally drive the South Africans out. News coverage worldwide reports on the events and Claire's brave footage.
Claire Wellington provided on-the-ground coverage of these shocking events.
Welcome. As of today,
Sometime later, Venegas stepped down as president and revealed that Paldonia would have an upcoming free election. There would be a significant investment in the health and education of the Paldonian people.
$5 billion would be invested in health, education, and infrastructure.
Mason returns home and reconnects with Jenny and Casey. Mason discovers that Venegas has given him $5 million.
Yes!
And just like that,
Mason decides to spend more time with his family now that he knows his purpose.
they just take the rest of the day off and spend it with the family. Yeah, you like that?
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and smash the bell button. Write in the comments section what kind of movie you would like to see next.